Well, tonight we have the final award of the evening, and we have the distinct honor of paying tribute to a combat hero of this generation from our native Western Pennsylvania. Sergeant First Class Michael Tully, this year's recipient of the Chairman's Posthumous Award for Individual Bravery and Courage.
Mike as a kid he was very adventurous. He was very, very active. He loved his motorcycles and his, playing in the woods and having a good time with his brother and sister. He was, an athlete in high school. He was, he hunted and fished with me. So he was just a good kid. Never was in any trouble. He was always very, popular with his friends. He always would, be able to participate with whatever situation he was in.
One of the things I think about with Mike is he just fit in with whatever group he was with, to kind of elaborate on what Jack said. That's one of the things my younger nephew always said. Mike included him in everything and looked out for him, and he was never one to think he was better than anybody else. Bullies and that type of thing, he would never put up with something like that. Drugs.
At a young age, he, again, being so adventurous, he was always wanting to be able to look for new horizons. He wanted to be able to do things that were exciting. He didn't want anything to bore him. And he would always indicate as a young boy that, the military life was probably the direction we've seen him growing into. He would play, in the woods. They would play Army all the time, and,
He was all excited when we bought the camo bedspread and the camo curtains and all that sort of thing. So I think he pretty much always had it in his mind. He was going to go into some branch of the service. It just seemed like he was just cut out for that life.
His brother was a paratrooper at this time after Mike got out of the Marines, and Michael wanted to be a paratrooper. So again, he enlisted as an airborne troop, and he went to Fort Benning, became airborne certified, and then he had the opportunity to go to Ranger School, which he did, and completed his Ranger training, and actually became a Ranger instructor down at RTB down at Fort Benning. And that sense of progression through that, it's almost like the civilian life where people recruit you for the next level, and then Special Forces soldiers he had an opportunity to go through selection, which I always remember this song back in the 60s. Barry Sandler had the Green Beret. We test 100 men today and only 3 make the Green Beret. That's one thing that I always remember, and when Mike went through that selection, he was one of those 3 that made it. And that was only the start of his training there to become a Green Beret. So it was a progression, and it was always something that he was just focused on. He knew that he wanted to go to the next level.
He loved helping people, and I think that was one of the ultimate things for him, is when he got to become that combat medic as the Green Beret, because he could honestly help people, and especially help children.
He was HALO qualified, which is high altitude, low opening, where you jump with oxygen. Most people would think, well, wow, that's pretty scary, but he enjoyed that. He was a scuba diver. He had numerous opportunities to dive when he was in the Marine Corps and in the Army, and he enjoyed that. His military background and his medical training, he was very, very helpful with a lot of people, with especially the kids, as Marilyn said. He would call a lot of times and say, if they were only in the United States, we could do so much more, but and sometimes in remote areas you just couldn't. You could only do the best you could.
Mike's first tour was more of a training tour for, I think it was even also U.S. soldiers as well, and he was over there for a shorter amount of time. And the location that he was sent to, the second tour he was on an A-team from Fort Lewis, and normally there are 12 people that serve so closely together that they definitely become brothers. They're so close because they look out for each other. And where they were deployed to was in a very rough area to be in, and they're embedded right in amongst everyone. They're there as soldiers, but they're also there as, I want to say, goodwill ambassadors, because while Mike's there, he would be working with the Iraqi people, offering medical care along with the other medic that was with him. I was nervous about the second tour because I knew it was a totally different situation.
The Green Berets, they're defined as silent professionals, and being they're only a 12-man team, 12 men in a bad situation can get ugly real quick. Mike was in one of those areas, which his team was. We spoke to most of his team members, and they said it was a real bad situation.
We heard a car pull in the driveway, and I said to Jack, because it was summer, it was a nice summer night, and we had the doors open. And I said, well, there's a car pulled in, and it backed into the back of the driveway. And he walked out. As soon as I saw his shoulders, he saw the soldiers walking through across the driveway. I was still in the kitchen door. He was standing at the open garage door, and I just saw his shoulders drop. And the only thing we could say was which one, because both of them were in Iraq at the time. Because you just know when you see those soldiers coming. And I always think, such a hard job for those soldiers to have to do to come and tell a family that type of news. And we appreciated them. You know, they spent a lot of time with us.
It's just one of those situations that we all see in our everyday life through movies. You see the car pull up in the driveway, and it is just that way. It is just that way. I mean, when you see a soldier coming, you know. And I think if you would interview any other Gold Star parent, they would tell you the same thing. You know in your gut that something's wrong, something's happened that's terrible. They were just out on a mission, showing a new officer the lay of the land, what they have done, where they were, where safe zones, where dangerous areas were. And that's what they were doing, and they struck an IED in the road, and Michael was killed instantly, and one of his best friends, Adrian Alvazolid, he was in the turret, he was also killed. Never once thought, well, you know, if he wouldn't have went to the military, it wasn't that at all. You know, it was what Michael loved to do. Again, with our faith and our family and our friends and the military, and especially his team, we were able to stand as strong as we did. We continue to this day to, you know, support our military, support all the people and his friends, doing what we know they love to do.
100 men will test today, but only 3 win the Green Beret.
It is with humility and deep respect tonight that we honor Sergeant First Class Michael Tully posthumously with the 2010 Chairman's Award. Please welcome to the stage Michael's father, Mr. Jack Tully.
Good evening, everyone. My wife, unfortunately, wasn't able to attend tonight. She's at Fort Richardson, Alaska, visiting our grandchildren. We are very proud Gold Star parents of Michael, and I'm also a very proud parent of my daughter, Heather, who's with me this evening, and also my son, Sergeant First Class John Tully, who serves as an airborne infantryman Fort Richardson, Alaska, serving in his 18th year of service with the tour of Iraq and Afghanistan. Losing Mike was a terrible shock and tragedy, and we miss him every day. We didn't get to see Mike as often as we might like to with all his training and deployments. But he was always very faithful at calling, even from Iraq. And we only talked to him hours before he was taken from us with his best friend, Adrian Alizalde. It was very comforting to us to be able to tell Mike we loved him, and he told us that he loved us. And it became very comforting in the days that followed. Michael was killed by an IED southwest of Baghdad, 23 August 2007, on his second deployment for Iraq. As the video showed, when the driver pulled into our driveway, you definitely know. I know there's probably a lot of military in here that had friends and buddies that paid the ultimate sacrifice, and I know how you feel. Believe me, I do. Michael was on his Special Forces team as a combat medic, and he really did love to help people. I remember one incident when he was going through his training, and I'll say it was in Florida, but it may have been another area. He called home to his mother and I. He said he had delivered his first baby. And that was you could hear the excitement in his voice. Becoming a Green Beret is no easy task. Just like many of the military in the audience, the accomplishments that they've made is not an easy task. Special Forces soldiers are known as quiet professionals, but their parents don't have to be quiet. We'll take every chance we get to tell you about our Michael, and so will my family and friends. As the word of Mike's passing spread, we were surrounded with the love and support of our family, church family, and the entire community. We felt the love and support in each phone call or visit, each card received in the mail, and each food item brought to the house. Family members traveled from across the country were amazed at the outpouring of love and support, and we drew comfort and strength from this support. The soldiers that came from Fort Lewis to be part of Mike's funeral detail were moved, and several of them told us that they were not always received and appreciated for their service the way they were in our little corner of Pennsylvania. Soldiers and their families and friends of Mike reach out to us, some right away and some as time passed, and that continues to today. It was difficult for some to make that call because I believe they suffer from what is called survivor's guilt. On more than one occasion, Marilyn and I were told that these soldiers were so glad that they finally called and wished that they had summoned up the courage more quickly. Shedding tears over the phone, with us and at Mike's gravesite was a good release for grief that was bottled up too long and certainly not perceived as a sign of weakness. The bond that these soldiers and these men develop as they spend time together at home, in training and in combat, has made them brothers for life. Marilyn and I like to think that as much as the calls helped us, we also helped them. We love and miss our Michael every day, but as much as you feel the loss from Mike, we feel very blessed because you see our family has grown these past 3 years, including the wonderful men and families that we've met through Mike's old team. We are excited to be part of the lives of 3 baby boys that were named after Michael. Our nephew Tim named his son Luke Michael in memory of his cousin, and 2 of Mike's team members asked permission to name their sons in honor of Mike, and we now have Michael Adrian DeLucia and Tully Joseph Carr in our lives. We feel so honored and privileged, love these children, and look forward to watching them grow. Keeping the memory of our fallen heroes alive, remembering who continued to protect our freedom as they serve in harm's way, is the heart of all that I share. Mike or any of these soldiers did not do what they did to achieve special honor or any praise, any special recognition. But the end results help so many people, and that is the main thing. Mike loved helping people, especially children, so I know he would be pleased. Marilyn and I try to do our best to connect with others who experience the pain of losing a child. We have attended several military funerals in an attempt to reach out, let them know that we have also lost a child, and we know what they're going through. We offer a card with their contact information if they ever want to contact us, and we offer a hug, which is often all that is needed between one Gold Star parent and another. If there are any military here tonight or companies sponsored feel that I could help to spread the word of our military with the story of my son, please contact me. Thank you for allowing me to share these thoughts with you this evening, and I extend my thanks to all the military and their families for their sacrifice and service. I graciously accept this Chairman's Award from the VLP in honoring Mike's memory. We will treasure it always. We want to take the opportunity to commend the VLP for all the good work they have done on behalf of the veterans. I want to leave you with these words. Never let an opportunity pass your loved ones to tell them you love them. And it's not about the war, it's about the warrior. Never forget them. God bless you and God bless America.